While humans instinctively view a firm, full-body hug as a primary demonstration of deep affection and emotional security, most dogs perceive the act of being physically restrained as a threatening gesture that triggers their primal fight-or-flight response. We often forget that dogs communicate predominantly through subtle shifts in body language, so when we lean over them to pat their heads, we are actually exhibiting a dominant posture that can make even the most confident pup feel momentarily anxious. The common habit of rushing through a morning walk because we are late for work deprives a dog of their sensory newspaper, which is the vital process of sniffing and processing the olfactory information left by other animals in the neighborhood. Many owners mistakenly believe that a dog enjoys being dressed in elaborate costumes or tight sweaters for social media photos, yet the restrictive fabric often impedes their natural movement and creates a sense of physical confusion. Forcing a shy or fearful dog to interact with strangers in a crowded park under the guise of socialization usually results in increased cortisol levels rather than a well-adjusted temperament. When we use a high-pitched, frantic tone of voice to give commands, we often inadvertently escalate the dog's excitement or anxiety instead of providing the calm, assertive leadership they actually crave. Dogs find it incredibly stressful when their owners fail to establish a consistent daily routine, as they rely on the predictable timing of meals, walks, and rest periods to feel safe within their environment. The practice of staring directly into a dog's eyes for an extended period might feel like a soulful connection to a human, but in the canine world, a prolonged, unblinking stare is frequently interpreted as a challenge or an act of aggression. Many people tend to pat a dog's face or muzzle as a sign of endearment, disregarding the fact that this area is highly sensitive and that most dogs would much prefer a gentle scratch behind the ears or along the chest. We often underestimate how much dogs hate being woken up abruptly from a deep sleep, especially as they age and their sensory processing becomes less sharp, leading to a startled and defensive reaction. The use of heavy, citrus-scented cleaning products or strong perfumes in the home can be overwhelming for a dog's olfactory system, which is tens of thousands of times more sensitive than our own. Walking a dog on a tight, short leash without ever allowing them the slack to explore their surroundings creates a constant state of physical tension that can lead to chronic neck pain and behavioral frustration. Owners who allow their dogs to jump on them during playtime but punish them for the same behavior when guests arrive create a confusing environment where the animal never truly understands the boundaries. It is a common mistake to assume that a wagging tail always signifies happiness, as it can often indicate intense agitation or a warning that the dog is about to react defensively to an uncomfortable situation. Neglecting to provide mental stimulation through puzzles or training exercises can lead a dog to develop destructive habits, which are actually just desperate attempts to alleviate the crushing boredom of their daily lives. Many owners talk to their dogs in long, complex paragraphs of human language, failing to realize that the dog is likely only picking out a few familiar keywords while becoming increasingly confused by the surrounding noise. Bringing a dog into a high-decibel environment like a loud party or a fireworks display can cause genuine physical pain to their ears and result in long-term noise phobias that are difficult to reverse. The habit of constantly touching or petting a dog when they are trying to eat or chew on a bone can create resource guarding issues because the dog feels their personal space is being invaded during a vulnerable moment. We often ignore the calming signals our dogs give us, such as licking their lips, yawning, or turning their heads away, which are clear requests for us to stop whatever we are doing and give them some space. Expecting a dog to know what they did wrong hours after a mistake has occurred is a fundamental misunderstanding of canine memory, as they live primarily in the present moment and cannot link past actions to current scoldings. Some owners mistakenly believe that a dog enjoys being teased with toys or food, not realizing that this creates a sense of distrust and frustration that undermines the bond between the pet and the human. The lack of a designated safe zone or crate where a dog can retreat when the household becomes too chaotic is a major source of stress for many domestic animals. Using physical punishment or alpha roles to discipline a dog is an outdated and harmful practice that replaces a relationship of trust with one based entirely on fear and unpredictability. Many people fail to realize that dogs are extremely sensitive to human emotions, and if the owner is constantly stressed or angry, the dog will likely mirror that anxiety without understanding the source of the tension. Ultimately, the greatest daily struggle for a dog is often the lack of clear, consistent communication from their owner, which leaves the animal guessing about what is expected of them in any given situation. Dogs are essentially professional observers of human behavior, so they find it incredibly jarring when their owners act inconsistently, such as allowing them on the sofa one day but scolding them for it the next. The modern trend of taking dogs everywhere, from loud cafes to busy shopping centers, often ignores the fact that many dogs find the sensory overload of these environments to be exhausting rather than enjoyable. Most owners do not realize that their own body tension travels directly down the leash, So if they are nervous about an approaching dog, their pet will immediately sense that fear and react defensively to protect them. The common practice of blowing in a dog's face or ears for a reaction is something dogs universally detest, as it is an intrusive and confusing physical sensation that serves no positive purpose. We frequently overlook the importance of sniffing time during walks, failing to understand that for a dog, a walk is less about the physical distance covered and more about the mental engagement with their environment. Leaving a dog alone for 10 to 12 hours a day without any form of companionship or mental outlet is a form of social isolation that goes against their fundamental nature as pack animals. Many owners fail to groom their dogs regularly, leading to painful mats in their fur or overgrown nails that make every step uncomfortable, yet they expect the dog to remain happy and active. The introduction of new, unfamiliar people into a dog's home without a proper, neutral introduction can lead to territorial anxiety that manifests as barking or retreated behavior. Using a retractable leash is often frustrating for dogs because the tension is never consistent, making it nearly impossible for them to learn where the boundary of their freedom actually lies. We often expect dogs to be perfectly behaved around children who do not respect their boundaries, forgetting that a dog has a limited number of ways to say, "Please stop," before they feel forced to growl. The habit of testing a dog's patience by taking away their food or toys repeatedly can permanently damage the foundation of trust that is necessary for a healthy human-canine relationship. Dogs often find the intense, chemical smells of certain dog-friendly shampoos to be repulsive, leading them to immediately roll in something smelly outside to reclaim their natural scent. Owners who yell at their dogs for barking at the mailman often don't realize that from the dog's perspective, the barking worked because the intruder eventually left the property. The lack of variety in a dog's physical environment can lead to kennellosis or repetitive behaviors, even in a home setting, if they are never exposed to new sights, sounds, or terrains. Many people ignore the signs of heat exhaustion in their dogs during summer walks, pushing them to keep pace on hot pavement that can seriously burn the sensitive pads of their paws. Forcing a dog to swim when they are clearly terrified of the water is a traumatic experience that can lead to a lifelong fear of even basic baths or rain. We often fail to provide our dogs with enough vertical or horizontal space to move away from other household pets, leading to silent turf wars that increase the overall stress levels in the home. The use of scented poop bags or air fresheners near their bedding can be an assault on their senses that makes it difficult for them to truly relax in their own living space. Owners who use baby talk exclusively often miss out on the opportunity to use distinct, clear cues that would help the dog navigate the human world with more confidence. When we constantly change the rules of a game, like tug-of-war or fetch, the dog becomes frustrated because they cannot figure out how to win or please their owner. Ignoring a dog's need for downtime after a high-intensity activity can lead to an overtired animal that becomes nippy or irritable, much like a toddler who has missed a nap. Many owners are unaware that their dogs hate being hugged while they are trying to perform a task, as the physical restriction prevents them from focusing on the job at hand. The common mistake of allowing a dog to pull on the leash because they are small ignores the fact that the behavior is a sign of a lack of mental focus and connection with the handler. Dogs find it stressful when we move furniture or change the layout of the house frequently, as they use physical landmarks to navigate and feel secure in their territory. Ultimately, the daily habit dogs hate most is when their owners stop treating them like the intelligent, sentient animals they are and start treating them like inanimate accessories for a specific lifestyle.